so I stopped being lazy. Yeah, and I became creative. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come eat.
Welcome to the Silver Lining Podcast. I am your host, Sterlington, and today I have a special guest joining me. And special guest has returned, my
Oh
man
yeah,
Cam Turner. How you doing, my boy?
feeling good, man. We got a good old fashioned hate week upon us. Feeling optimistic about this weekend.
All right, cool. I gave a reaction to the Falcons versus Chiefs game before we jump into what we were gonna get into with the Saints because FTS. So I got a lot to say there. Uh, what you got to say about the Falcons game against the Chiefs?
There were quite a bit of positives, things I like to see. One thing that I really liked how our defense played. We did at times we gave up some long drives, but we held when we needed to. We got we got a big stop in the fourth quarter when we needed to as well. Offense couldn't capitalize, but the defense held, and that was something I was really happy about. Sucks we had a couple O linemen get hurt that kind of threw off our run game, and you could really tell that in the second half. Bijan couldn't get established. Tyler couldn't get anything going either. So you could really tell we were hampered at running the ball. Kirk in the first half looked pretty solid. Second half, you could tell with the hurt old lineman, like we struggled a bit. We struggled to move the ball. All in all, I liked what I saw from the team. I think we're a competitive team, which is we haven't been able to say that for the last 5 years. So I'm really happy that I think we got a team that I think can compete and potentially be a playoff threat. So, what about you? What do you think?
Hey man, everybody who watched know what I think, but it's not all negative though. I was a little negative just because I know we lost. I'm just trying to focus on how we can take those L's and turn them into W's down the line, and I was just like real negative about the run defense. Um, I'm kind of getting a little annoyed about seeing teams be able to consistently move the ball on the ground against us. Um, but I am impressed with the secondary. I feel like the secondary is really carrying the defense, especially given the lack of pass rush we've had the last couple of weeks. Really hadn't had much to show in the way of pass rush. But between AJ Terrell, Mike Hughes, surprisingly, Jesse and Justin, they've been really holding it down out there. Now, D Alford had a rough game last week. But I feel like some of that roughness was like not all him, so I wasn't too hard on him. Another thing though was that I felt like we missed a lot of tackles on defense. And I felt like if we had better tackling, we probably could have won that game, even though that's like the smallest change. I felt like it was a couple of times where they got little extra yards that turned into first downs that would have hurt those long drives and gave time back to the offense. And as far as the offense, I was real down that the lineman got hurt just because, I know people give Caleb McGarry a hard time because it's pass protection. When the Falcons not running the ball well, his pass protection or how inferior it is sticks out a little more. But when the Falcons moving the ball, he is like one of the reasons why. Like if the Falcons moving the ball, it's because the ball got a chain and attached to his ass. You know what I'm saying? He moving that shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, Also, I like that we're trying to make sure we get Ray McLeod and Darnell Mooney involved, but I'm kind of wanting Zach to focus more on Kyle Pitts. I'm like, hey, look, Kansas City was a team that gave up monster yardage to Isaiah Likely and Mike Gesicki, and you stroll in here with Kyle Pitts, and we have to one bomb to Kyle Pitts, and we not trying to like feature Pitts more. Like he beat the hell out of his man on that play. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah,
like, I promise you, he can do that more than once a game. I promise you, he can do that. You just got to make sure that you're calling his number more. I would also like to see Drake get some of those screens that they were feeding Mooney. And I was like, I know Mooney's fast, But Drake's kind of good after the catch. He's better than I thought he was. Like, he's not gonna take a 7-yard play to a 70-yard touchdown because he's not that fast. But he could definitely catch a 7-yard pass and make like two guys miss and turn that into like a 15, 20-yard game.
Oh, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm like,
He's very physical after the catch.
yo, just let him get a chance. Cause like when guys like he is like, and not just like he physical, but he also like he got that slipperiness where like sometimes he catch the ball and somehow he ducking under a guy to get free. And I'm like, this guy's 6'4". These corners guard him to 6 feet or shorter, and he hitting them guys with a duck move. I'm like, man, get this man the ball more in space, let him cook a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But that was just the negatives. But the reason I think I harped on the negatives is because what I really like, what really makes me feel positive, right, is just that I'm like, a lot of the problems I have kind of come from them not playing in preseason. And, the more they play, the better I assume they look. Part of the reason you might be a little harder at tackle, a little bad at tackling, is because you hadn't been tackling anybody. So I'm assuming that's going to get better over time. I'm assuming that the run defense, as they see that it's the problem, they're going to tinker with it and find ways to get better at that, especially given that no pass rush, no run defense, and the defense been playing as good as it is. I figure they at least going to get more solid in run defense at some point, even if they're not necessarily making the pass rush. So I don't feel like the defense is hitting its ceiling yet. And I think Zach Robinson is still getting better as a play caller. I think, like I said, I still want to see him feature his top guys more, but I think the offense has kind of been better in every game. Now, I know we scored 17 this game, so we scored 10 points, then we scored 22, then we scored 17, so that seemed like a step back. But if you look at red zone attempts, we had 2 red zone attempts against the Steelers. We had 3 against the Eagles, and then against the Chiefs, we had 4. So we starting to move the ball more. And
Yeah.
at this point, it's just about how do we turn these times we moving the ball into touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? And I think once he starts to sort out that red zone offense a little better, then I think, once we get red zone offense better and get the run defense better, the team gonna be primed. And it's only the first 3 games, so there's no need to pour the baby out with the baby out with the bathwater. Like,
Oh,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
it's early. It's still a reason to be optimistic, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So
I know.
that's go ahead.
I know Matt Ryan had mentioned them. I saw the YouTube video or tweet, but he said he was very bullish on the Falcons. He said it's very early. We have the gauntlet of our schedule on the top half, and then it gets easier on the back half. Granted, some
Yeah.
teams who we thought would be worse are performing a little bit better earlier now, but like you said, it's a long season. But you nailed it. The problems that we have, the problems that like I'm a little negative about, are all problems that can be fixed, and they're all problems that stem from not playing in preseason. We look a little rusty to start the year off.
Yeah.
Like, it was very obvious. Week 1, it was very obvious. Also, side note, I know it's only been 3 weeks, but the Steelers have the number 1 defense in the league. So
Yeah.
don't get too upset over week 1. We play the number 1 defense. TJ Watt is the best player in the league on the defensive side of the ball. So
Yeah, funny thing about that too, because like, it's
and they're
hard
3-0.
it's almost hard to say, okay, you look at who they played. It's like, all right, they played us with Kirk coming off injury, with Zach Robinson calling the game how he called it. They played Denver with the rookie quarterback, and then they played the Chargers, who really don't have receiving threats, right? And it's like, oh, okay, you can just dismiss that, right? But then you see what Bo Nix did against the
The
Bucks. Like, he cut them up. Like, they didn't win with Bo Nix or in spite of Bo Nix. They won because of Bo Nix, right?
Yeah.
And the defense, because they held the Bucks to 7 points. But J.K. Dobbins, I think he was the leading rusher in the NFL going into that game.
Man, wasn't
Steelers
he?
put the cuffs on that boy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, look, if nothing else, the Steelers been getting good at it. One of the things they seem to be doing is they're good at stopping what you do best and exploiting your weaknesses. I still think we could have beat them though, but
Oh, same
that's
here.
neither here nor there. You know, that's why I was, the way I was about Zach Robinson. I was just like, boy, oh boy, Zach. But when Zach figured it out though, because I mean, he not completely inept. Like I try to always keep perspective in this thing because you remember how people was pissed with Steve Sarkisian at first,
Yeah.
but really he wasn't great, but he wasn't like trash. It's just he coming off the heels of Shanahan.
What pissed me off
So
about Sark is that Matt LaFleur was in the building and we let him go.
that's what I'm saying. Most of the reasons you don't like Sark might not necessarily be related to Sark.
Exactly.
They related to 2016.
Yeah.
You coming off that sting and loss, you like, nigga, I'm ready for a Super Bowl. I'm ready to see a high scoring offense.
Yes.
I don't want to see this coach who is technically came in and didn't run his scheme. He learned the scheme that we ran the year before, and we didn't give him no slack on learning. You know what I'm saying? But it's because the team already went to the Super Bowl. It felt like the team was Super Bowl ready. And then they, went to the playoffs. So clearly they were. And honestly, how he managed that last red zone trip was not it, bro. That wasn't it.
Was not it.
So, like, all of these things happened that made it worse for him. And like you said, then we had Matt LaFleur, and we had a guy who, especially the fact that, well, now look at him now as a head coach. Now we looking even dumber not doing that. But that's not here nor there. That's in the past. So time to get on hate week, baby.
Oh yeah.
FTS, baby. Fuck them. Fuck the Saints. Fuck the Aints. Don't like them guys. It's funny. I don't even know if I dislike the Saints. Or I just hate their fans more. I'll be like, oh, y'all the most obnoxious fans. Like seriously, y'all worse than Lakers fans.
And you know
Like,
what's funny? I am the only Falcons fan in my family. My whole family's from Baton Rouge or New Orleans. They
yeah,
all Saints
yeah.
fans.
Hey
I'm the
man,
oddball.
you
I'm the
you
Falcons.
had to see the light. It's all right. It's all right.
Hey,
You know
Vic
what I'm
saved
saying?
me.
That's right. I ain't gonna lie, boy. Vic made fans of a lot of us.
I'm trying
And
to
now
tell
the
you.
Saints sucked back then too, man. Gosh. Saints was hard to watch back then. They had Jim Haslett as coach. Aaron Brooks was the QB, I think. But so what? We at home, right? We
We are at
hosting.
home.
We at home against the Saints. Um, it's not a must win, but it's a must win. Um,
Get
more
your
so just about establishing ourselves, right? Like the Saints, I know they smoked Dallas in Dallas. Um, but that's like the only road game they played. So we haven't won a home game this year, right? Um, but we played two undefeated teams at home, and now we got a 2-1 team coming off of a loss. Um, so this it's not a must win, but I'm feeling like the pressure on. We need to get this one to get the division, knock the Saints down a peg for us to go up a peg, to establish ourselves a little bit. I'm looking at the trenches now. We heard on the O line. They got some injuries on their O line too, though. I just need to see if our guys are going to take advantage of it. I got to be honest though. I don't know if you've been watching. I've been feeling like Onyemata haven't been playing as good this year. Have you been watching him or not?
I'll say this. It's only been week 3, and his play hasn't particularly stood out. So I wouldn't necessarily say that's a problem, but when you're making the money he's making, you want your star players to perform like stars. So it's early, and I think there's still time for him to like find his rhythm. Same with Grady. Same with the team in general. Like you said before, we didn't play in the preseason. We're still ramping up. Now, something I will say, and you touched on it, I'll believe we're a true competitive team when we start consistently winning the games we're supposed to win. Now, this Saints game, this is a toss-up. This could go either way. The Saints don't have a bad team. They have a pretty solid quarterback. Derek Carr's not terrible. They have great weapons on offense. Their defense is serviceable. I don't even know how because all their stars on defense are old now. But they've put together a strong team, and they got a good OC. They got a Kubiak as an OC. So, and that has been shown throughout the first 3 weeks. Now they play the Eagles this past week, and I actually watched that game. We beat the Eagles. We exploited their defense. We exploited that defense. The Eagles' defense can be easily exploited. Their DBs are not the greatest. Yet the Saints weren't able to truly capitalize on that. The Eagles were able to get pressure on Derek Carr. So if I think if we're gonna find a way to beat them, it's gonna have to be getting pressure on Carr. Like our front four, whoever is on our D line, they're gonna have to get pressure. Drew Johnson have to step up. Grady, Anyamata, uh, whoever else plays on the other edge, Lorenzo Carter, like they're gonna have to get pressure on Carr. They're gonna have to find a way to make that happen because our secondary has been stepping up. So it's on our defensive line to really bring home some pressure so so our defense can take the next level.
Yeah, I watched that game too. I saw a lot of things. So I think after we beat the Eagles the way we did, I think we got the Eagles' attention because they went into went into New Orleans, and honestly, they won by 3. Shouldn't have been that close.
Oh, they should have won.
Shouldn't have been that close. Doug Peters, I went on a mini rant on my reaction when I was talking about I think I was just talking about coaches in general, but not Doug Peterson. I did it again. Nick Sirianni is pissing me the hell off with how often he's going for it on fourth downs. I'm like, bro.
He is a quarterback that squats 600 pounds.
Like,
but won't.
Nah, not even that, man. Kick the damn field goal. Kick the field. Like, my thing is points. Like especially like when you examining how the game is going. Part of the reason it was behind all day is because he's not looking at how the game going. Sometimes it's not going to be a high scoring game. Sometimes it's a low scoring game, and points matter, right? When you're down, 12-7? I don't remember what the score was. Maybe it was 9-7, whatever. I think they kept the no, they didn't keep the Saints out the. And then the Saints definitely scored at least a touchdown because Chris Olave caught a touchdown. But when you have a game like that ends 15-12, and part of that reason that happened is because your quarterback threw a red zone pick, you didn't convert 2 fourth downs that the coach shouldn't have gone for, right? And
Yeah.
I think something else happened. I don't know. But I'm like, y'all choking up points. Right. Sometimes, and I look at a situation when I'm talking about going for it on fourth down, right? I'm like, hey, look, if going for it on fourth down will put you up like 17 instead of 13, then all right, fine. But you're still up with by 2 scores either way, whether you go for it and get it or don't. You know what I'm saying? But not one put you up 2 scores, the other one put you up 3 scores. So you're going for 3 scores. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But like when the game tied and you don't have a lead, no. Secure a lead first. Secure a lead. Put pressure on the other team to score.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like say, hey, you guys gotta play this game too. You know what I'm saying? And like they just keep going for it in the worst situations.
Or
And
you know what he'll do? He'll go for it, but he won't play to his strengths when he's going for it. It'll be something like 4th and 1 and 4th and 2, and you're passing it. As much as I hate the tush push as much as anybody, it works. It works.
I think it's damn near unstoppable.
You know what I was thinking on that 4th down when the Falcons were playing the Chiefs and we needed 1 yard? I wish we had a tush push. That's what I was hoping. I was hoping, and Kirk Cousins could have earned a lot of street cred if he QB sneaked it on that 4th down. I knew it wouldn't happen, but he could have earned a lot of street cred if he did it.
It was a lot with that, though. They think about Kirk health, and they think about the fact that their starting center was out.
Fair enough, and I get that.
Because I wanted it, but I understood why as soon as I saw him line up. I was like, oh, okay, I can't get mad at that. Because like the thought of your quarterback getting hurt on a quarterback sneak is disastrous. Like it's just a march. Just push and go forward. And then he get hurt. And then you don't get it because you Oh man, that'd have been a
Yeah,
disaster.
it's terrible.
But I don't know though, man. It was like half a yard. Maybe they should have just did it. Um, yeah. So one of the things I saw in that game though, and one of the reasons why I said that we got the Eagles' attention is because um now we put the clamps on their D line for the most part when we played the Eagles, right? Um, but I do have to admit that they just played better against the Saints. I felt like I'm like, holy shit, Jalen Carter finally decided he wanted to earn his check instead of just sitting on his couch collecting one. Because that
Exactly.
boy Jalen Carter was making plays, and he was making plays in the run game. You know what I'm saying? And they were getting plays in the run game with four. They went and what they did though, and why we were so successful running the ball against them, and why the Saints struggled was instead of running out, trotting out their two lightweight edges, they put some beefier guys on the edge. So now you're able to defend the run with four. And I think about how it was for us last year. Last year we were pretty decent against the run. Kinda is a lot easier to be decent against the run when you trotting out four big guys. Like
Yeah,
the
of course.
smallest guy was Bud Dupree. You know what I'm saying? But Calais Campbell playing edge in your base run defense? Yeah, good luck with that. Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata, Calais Campbell, and then Bud Dupree. Yeah, yeah. Guess what? This team don't need 8 guys in that box when they got that on the line. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And right now we still trotting out a lightweight edge, and guys not playing the best they could because Eddie Goldman. I think in base defense it's Eddie Goldman, Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata, and then Judon and Carter. And it seems like that should honestly it seems like that should be good enough to stop the run, but. They I think Onyemata's struggling a little bit. Um, but I think if we just make it a solid commitment, and we do got to find ways to get a little more pressure, because what I'm seeing with Carr is if Carr has time to sit back, he is like extremely accurate throwing that deep ball, but he's only extremely accurate throwing it from a set spot. So like if you get Rashid Shaheed down there or Chris Olave down there or Alvin Kamara, if he can just stand back with no pressure and throw it, it's gonna go right in the bucket. Like it's gonna go on the right shoulder, away from the defender, in stride, so that if he outrunning your guy, it's gonna be a touchdown. But as soon as you start getting pressure on Carl, bro, as soon as you start getting pressure on him, man, that man folding up like a cheap suit, boy. Like I'm telling you,
Hey, I'm
bro.
counting on it.
You can put that man back in the wrapper you came out. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't do it. So I think we might need to focus on stopping the run and being aggressive with Carr and getting pressure on him. Um, Now I ain't gonna lie though. Their defense is still pretty legit. Now the Eagles did move the ball against them, but they forced a lot of turnovers when they needed them. I don't remember who got. I think Honey Badger caught a pick against Jalen in the end zone, and Granderson. I keep wanting to call him Curtis Granderson, but I'm pretty sure that was a baseball player.
It was. It was.
What is his name? It's C. Granderson. I think he's 96 for the Saints. I don't know. But he had a good game and he had a strip. But his strip sack was like a stupid one. Jalen Hurts was kind of pissing me off that game too. I'd be like, man, sometimes these mobile quarterbacks, they be hanging onto the ball too damn long. I'd be like, boy, if you don't get that damn ball out your hands, like it need to almost like be a clock in your head to say, hey, regardless of the outcome, I don't held the ball too long. I either need to run or I need to throw it away. And like run to run, not run to throw. I know it work out a lot of times. A lot of quarterbacks do it, but I'm just saying I don't. I'm like, oh, okay. I could tell you never played O line because you don't know how long this is that you got to block a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, block is just like covering the receiver. Like after a while, when the quarterback just run around too long, your dude just gonna get away from you. Because covering a guy for like 5, 6, 7 seconds is a long time to cover somebody.
Oh, of course, man. Whew.
So let me ask. You know how I like to ask. I like to go at it like, the team we know best is the Falcons. So, knowing what you know of the Saints, seeing what you've seen of the Saints. If you're the Saints, how do you attack the Falcons defense, and what are the Falcons gonna do about it?
The same way it's going for the last 3 weeks, man. Apparently, our run defense is porous. We give up a lot of run plays, and our tackling, our DB tackling has been better, but like
I agree.
tackling within the trenches needs some work. And teams have been consistently breaking off big runs on us. I've noticed that they'll get into second and short, a third and short. So it's manageable third downs, and that's how our defense can't get off the field. We're not pushing teams in third and long. It's always like a 3rd and 3 or a 3rd and 2. That's one thing that was a recurring trend that pissed me off against the Chiefs. Every third down they had was a 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. They were getting 5 on first down, whatever the fuck they wanted on second, and third down was either 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and they were gonna get it easy. And
And then the boot, we were shitty on third downs.
yes, which understandably so when you're 3rd and 3. It's easy to give up 3 yards. We got to make sure with the Saints, they're going to try to establish the run early. Alvin Kamara's on a limited report. He did not practice today. We're going to see how it works out tomorrow. If he's not playing on Sunday, I think he is. He more than likely is. If he's not playing on Sunday, we need to lock in on his run. Run defense.
I feel like he's going to mysteriously pop up as limited a bunch of times this year just because they don't want to have him practicing.
Oh, for sure. Get him ready for game day. Same with Julio. We did the same thing. Julio we kept him on ice until Sunday.
Basically.
And that's how the Saints are doing Alvin. I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. So I'm counting on him playing, but we got to shut him down. Run defense has to show up. Because the secondary is playing all right.
Yeah.
We got 2 quality safeties. So our run defense has got to show up.
We might have 2 quality corners too, man. That boy Mike Hughes, he rising up, man.
I'm trying to tell, and granted, Berlin Trice got hurt, but man, Ruka Roru can't even get on the field. Like he couldn't even make the roster. Is that how?
I ain't gonna lie though, bro. He got a stiff competition at his spot.
He does, but you even said it yourself. Onyemata got to step it up.
Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't impressed. Kentavious Street been straight. Taquan Graham actually been making some plays a little bit. Eddie Goldman been all right. Who else we got at that D tackle spot? Because it's deep. I'm not even gonna lie. Zach Robinson kind of in it. So it's. I'm just like, dang. When you think about how much they need of each position, and how many dress on game day? Is it 48 or 46?
I thought it was 53.
Nah, it's 53 on the roster, but that's not how many dress for game day.
Wow, I know the last couple of weeks he hasn't even dressed. We haven't got. And granted,
yeah.
Michael Penix.
I mean, do you? Let me ask you this: do you need an 8th D lineman, or do you need a 5th or 6th corner? Probably. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah. Like he's just losing out because. Like I'm like, man, we want you to play, but like,
you gonna have
how many of these niggas gonna get in? Like, I'm like, if I'm looking at this many
snaps.
Like I'm like, yeah, now, like I said, now with Onyemata, he long in the tooth. You know what I'm saying? I think he turning 33 this year. I hate saying that while I'm 33, but that reminds me of a meme I saw one time where they was like being 32 in real life. Oh, okay, you 32. Being 32 as an athlete. My God, it's a miracle he's even taking the field. So, I mean, before a D tackle though, that is when you start getting up there. Like at that point, you only gonna maintain anything that made you special if you was like so special to begin with. That you falling back down to earth, you still really good. Like Aaron Donald, he stopped after 10 years, right?
10 years.
Because he was drafted in the same draft as Jake Matthews. I think that was 2014. So yeah, 14 to 23 is 10 years. But like if Aaron would have Aaron could have probably still played at least a 35. He probably wouldn't be as effective, and I don't know if he would have wanted to play for the money. Like at that point, he'd have to play because he wanted to play. But he's so special that he'd still be good. Or if you got like an elite trait, like Akalea is super duper strong. Guys don't just get weak when they're 38. So he's still way stronger than everybody there.
Oh yeah, grown man strength is a thing, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, a lot of them guys who doing them strongman competitions, they are still very active in their mid-30s, like very active, winning. But yeah, I'm getting so distracted. So if we're talking about if I'm the Saints and I'm attacking the Falcons, right, and I'll just base it off what I've seen over the last couple weeks, I'm gonna give them a heavy dose of Alvin. I'm gonna give them as much Alvin as they can take, and I'm gonna give them some more. Right?
Completely
Passing
agree.
it, running it, passing it, whatever. Right? Um, I'm gonna try to isolate D Alford as much as I can. I'm gonna try to get him as many situations as I can, covering Rashid Shaheed and covering Chris Olave. And that's who I'm gonna attack if I'm gonna attack anybody. I ain't gonna try. I don't want to go after AJ Terrell, or I don't want to go after Mike Hughes. Mike Hughes been holding up pretty good. Um, the guy I think if I'm them, I think I can get off on is gonna be D Alford.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I'm gonna be as aggressive as I can because I think the Falcons have shaky pass protection. But if I'm the Saints now, I'm gonna remember my O-line situation before I try anything like that. I'm gonna just see how the backup center holding up. I don't know. Eric McCoy is on IR, so he's just like our center out for a while. They center out for a while. I don't know if Cesar Ruiz, starting right guard, is gonna play, but if he does, I don't know how they do their depth chart. I would imagine he move over to center because he was a center when he was drafted, and then like they moved him to guard. So he'll probably be center if he played, but he hurt. He would be playing hurt because I saw it. He did get hurt. He got hurt bad enough to leave the game.
Okay.
So he hurt, and he actually might not play. Like when people say they're questionable, but they still finish the game, I'm like, all right, whatever. But like he left the game. He missed time. And if both of those guys miss though, I'm probably not taking a shot unless I got 6 or 7 man protection.
Okay.
Because I think this is gonna be a game. I don't know if the Saints thinking this, but if I'm the Falcons and I'm thinking about how, all right, what's how the Falcons countering this gotta be Judon's game. Judon ain't getting a better matchup this year than Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning, big, strong, and tough, but the man feet look like they always moving and putting. They like seriously, bro. Like this man, they either like trudging,
Yeah.
or he just sliding around on them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, if this man got to block Judon, and then he on his side, right? Because like the Chiefs' left tackle was shaky. They actually ended up starting a backup on left. That actually probably ended up benefiting them, not just because he was playing better, but because they probably changed their game plan a little bit more to accommodate the fact that they got a shaky left tackle, right? But that's not Judon's side. So Judon not gonna really exploit that as much. Judon's natural side that he likes to rush from is the same side as Trevor Penning. And if Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz gonna be out of this game, that whole right side of the Saints offensive line, the left side of our D line, is exploitable. And we might even be able to stop the run. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we got to do it by having bigger guys on the edges. Maybe we got to do it by loading the box. But we got to sell out on not just stopping the run, but also getting pressure on Carr. Honestly, I would prioritize pressure over coverage. I think the Falcons are more of a coverage team with Raheem. They just hold it down in coverage. I think we need to prioritize pressure. I think we need to go after Carr. We need to make Carr run. We need to not let Carr have times where he's comfortable in the pocket. If we make Carr have to make decisions on the run, make him have to be accurate on the run, especially if the run game is bad and we get them in third and medium, third and long situations, expose, brother. I think this will be the second week in a row the Saints score less than 20 points in a game, even though they scored 40 in the first two.
Couldn't agree more, brother. Couldn't agree more.
That's how I feel about that. And you know that means we're gonna have to hold up in coverage now. They still got some horses in the receivers with A.T. Perry, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. But I think it's more important to get after Carr. I think if we can get after him, that'll neutralize them. All right. Now, if you are the Saints defense and you facing the Falcons offense, how you stopping the Falcons based off what you've seen from the Falcons and what you've seen from the Saints?
I'm stopping the run. I'm stopping the run and making them throw it 30, 40 times a game. I'm going to make Kirk beat us. That's what
I was
I'm
the guy. When you said that so matter-of-factly, I thought you was already done because I was like, actually, yeah. I don't think we need a huge long thing about that. I'm like, all right, when they was shitty running the ball against the Steelers, they didn't really do much. And then when they had a hard time against the Chiefs, they hadn't scored 20 points yet when they can't run the ball. I'm like, all right, well, y'all not about to run the ball this week. Show me you can do it.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Show me your backup right tackle can block, can protect for Kurt in the third and long. Show me your backup center can protect for Kurt in third and long. You know what I'm saying? But what's not going to happen is Bijan and Algier get off, and now y'all opening up y'all whole playbook. All right. So yeah, that was quick. That was factual and that was actual and factual right there. All right. And if you're the Falcons, how you attacking the Saints defense? I know that's a tough one, kind of. They hadn't given up 20 points this whole year.
And you know what? We keep saying the Saints have been in cap hell for like the last 5 years. And their defense, they haven't added anybody extraordinary. Granted, they have drafted well, but they haven't added anybody extraordinary in free agency.
No.
They got Chase Young, but that's
they draft good though.
They draft well, like a month.
They do, man. Well.
But man, they lost the one game. How did the Eagles beat them? They had to run the ball against them well, and then being able to open other things up. So we're gonna have to establish this run. Like this game is gonna be dictated on, especially on the offensive side of the ball for us. We're gonna have to establish this run because Kirk ain't there just yet. And granted, this is a very important time of the year. We have, I think, 4 of our next 5 games are division games.
Yeah, sure are.
Now I had us starting off 1-5.
Yeah, we 5 division games in before the bye.
I had us starting off the year 1-5, 1-6. After seeing what I've seen, this team is better than that. We can't let the division lead get too big. We can't let the NFC lead get too big because the NFC is not top heavy, but it's wide. Like there's a lot of solid teams in the NFC. We have to stay competitive. We cannot lose touch with the playoff race. Like
we can't get too far behind. And we can't depend on getting a wild card spot. That's for sure.
At the worst, these next 5 games we got to go 2-3. At worst, that's the worst. That means we go like we'll be like what 3-5.
3-5. Yeah, maybe 3-5. We could still do something.
We can still do something at 3-5, but that's the worst. We got to be competitive. We got to stay in these games, and my last point, we got to capitalize on moments, and that's something like Kirk has got to do better of. That's something Zach Robinson has to do better of. We got to capitalize on moments. We can't keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Kirk said it best. After that Chiefs game, he said he was disgusted because it felt like we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. That game was there for us. And
big time.
And we are used to that as being prototypical Falcons football. I'm slowly seeing the change in the culture. I'll truly believe a change is happening when we start winning these games. When we start capitalizing on these moments, start winning these games like we did against the Eagles. That's what it's going to take. And I think we have the team. I think we have the leadership. And I think we have the head coach who can do it. We just got to put it all together.
All right. Now, if I'm the Falcons, and I'm attacking the Saints, if I'm being honest, I really don't have a bunch to say about the Saints defense. The Saints they pretty sound on all levels.
Although,
they sound on both levels, but DeMario is losing a little bit of a step in coverage.
I can tell.
I think no, he's still covering like the run like sideline to sideline, but I think the real key, this is another key week. All right, they safeties and linebackers and coverage. All right, let me give you a stat line. 10 catches for 170 yards. That was Dallas Goedert's stat line against them.
Kyle Pitts need to go off.
Now, what did I say about the Chiefs?
He didn't have a bad
What
game.
I
He had
said?
one
No,
big
he
catch.
had 2 catches for 59 yards. Don't give me no, he ain't have a bad game. He had a bad game, and he had a bad game because Zach Robinson fucked him. I'm like,
Fair enough.
Zach,
Fair
you
enough.
need to make a more concerted, like, we need to say, hey, this play is for Kyle. Kyle's the first read. And this is like we trying to get Kyle open. I know he come from the McVay system, and like in LA, they really try to get the ball to Cooper Cup. They try to get the ball to Puka Nacua. Whoever the hell they got at receiver now, they don't really use tight end like that. Boy, you better start using what you got in your pantry. All right, don't be out here trying to make fucking pizza when all you got is the ingredients for mac and cheese.
Thank you.
All right.
Use what we got.
Like, hey,
number 4 pick on this man.
Hey, what Mama said when y'all came from somewhere, when y'all came from church or came from the mall or whatever, and you trying to go home, you say, Mom, can we get some macaroni? Can we get some food?
Can we get some McDonald's? No, we got McDonald's at the house.
We got it at the house. All right, hey, we got Cooper Cup at the house. We ain't got Cooper Cup. We got Cooper Cup at the house. We got Puka Nacua at the house. That's Kyle Pitts. That's Drake London. Feed them. Let's get these guys to rock, right? And let's not only that, let's get them to rock against the Saints' worst defenders. Don't dial up a bunch of plays trying to get the ball against the guy Marshawn Lattimore covering.
Don't do
all
that.
Right.
Why?
I can't remember the other. They got a young corner. He all right too though. But like, why are we attacking those guys when the guys in the middle of the field having a hard time covering? Let's go ahead and use our superior athletes against the parts of that defense that's inferior, right? Because I don't know if we're going to be able to run the ball against them. We didn't run the ball well against the Steelers. We kind of started out running the ball well against them, but then we died off once they kind of figured out, oh, okay, if we stop the run, these dudes going to just show us that they're throwing the ball. But if we see that we've been bad running the ball, I don't see the Saints being the team that we just figured out. Oh no, maybe. I ain't gonna lie. The Eagles ran all over them boys. Saquon ran all over them. But we got a lot of backup linemen in, Although to be fair, the Eagles lost Lane Johnson and oh my God. I forgot the name of their center. Their center was a right guard last year because he was a center who played next to Kelsey. But they put him at guard, and then he was the center and waiting for when Kelsey retired. So Kelsey retired, but he was out too. So they literally didn't have their center and right tackle, and still was able to finish running the ball against them. The reason why the Eagles was even close in that game is because they had 2 turnovers and 2 failed forward downs for 4 times where points came off the board. Because even when they got that fumble, maybe they wouldn't have scored on that drive. But they was near the midfield. They was around midfield.
And that's one thing we cannot do. Our offense is not potent enough to turn the ball over 4 times without getting points. We ain't there yet. The Chiefs can do that. We can't do that just yet.
Like we gotta all we gotta do is if we don't just don't turn the ball over, right? And that's easier said than done. All right, this is what I'll say. Even up the turnover battle. As long as we break even on the turnover battle, and by break even on the turnover battle, I don't mean we get a bunch of turnovers in a part of the field that don't matter, but then when we turn it over, and the Saints automatically get in red zone possession. Those turnovers not equal. But as long as we break even in the turnover battle, we run the ball and we attack them in the middle of the field. The Saints can be like the Saints kind of got exposed actually. Now the more I think about it, because like the Saints was putting the cuffs on the Panthers. They put the cuffs on Dallas, but Dallas kind of looked like they suck. So
Yeah.
we'll see, because they was down 28-6 last week too, and then they did a bunch of BS in the fourth quarter to try to make it the score look good. But yeah, man, the Eagles really should have beat the brakes off of them. Like, the Saints looked inept on offense except for the drive where they scored. And the Saints didn't stop the run. The Saints really didn't defend the tight end at all. In fact, actually, the drive where they got ahead, they had a huge catch and run by Dallas Goedert up the sideline. And boy, yeah. Look, point is, this game that's made for Zach if Zach do what he's supposed to do. If Zach attack them the way that we see that they weak. All right. So if we do that, I think we can do that. Now, last week, my score prediction for the Chiefs was almost there. Almost. I said 24-23 Falcons. The Chiefs scored 22. They missed the extra point. The Falcons had 2 chances to try to score that number 24. They didn't get it. So that's that. Score predictions this week.
I got us winning. We at home. We're angry about last week. I can tell the players they really want to get back after it. We were on the throwbacks. You got the red helmet on? The red helmet with the throwbacks?
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, come on now. Falcons winning, man. We beating the Saints. We beating the Aints. We putting the bag back on their head. People think I forgot. I ain't never going to forget that. They used to wear bags on their head. These new fans know the Saints has always been kind of good since Sean Payne been there.
yeah.
They used to be dog shit back in the day. They still are, but they used to be even worse. Bags on their head. I remember that. I'll never forget. But anyway, score prediction. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a Young Way Cool game winner. I say 27-24 Falcons.
Fuck the Saints, 30-17 Falcons.
I'm with it.
Now, look, if the Falcons get smoked this game, that'll be just the kind of game that'll happen. But if that game happen, it ain't gonna be in Atlanta. That hadn't seemed to be the case the last few years. Usually, at least if we play in Atlanta, it's a close game.
Close.
Even if the Falcons think it's usually a closer game, right? I do think the Saints showed some serious chinks in the armor. I think they showed some serious cracks in the foundation. I think the Falcons coaching staff, at least the defense, is smart enough to exploit that. We'll see what Zach Robinson does, but I think this would be a great game for the Falcons to figure it all out. Have that first 30-point game we didn't had in – when last time we had a 30-point game? We didn't have any last year.
A legit
Marcus Mariota was the quarterback.
like a legit 30-point game. Like, no defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
No offensive scoring 30-plus points.
Oh, now if you're going that far back, I'm going to have to look myself because
it might be since 2016. I want to say 2018.
No, we definitely had a 30-point game since 2016. But I know, hold on. I know we scored 30 against the Panthers in 2022, but there was a defensive touchdown by Lorenzo Carter. 22 season. All right, let's see 2022 season. Or maybe I should have just Googled when the last time the Falcons scored 30 points. We scored 30 points against the Bucks. January 8th, 2023. That don't sound right. What the hell?
I'm looking at it right now.
That's a Desmond Ridder game. That's why it don't sound right. I'm like, did we score a defensive touchdown in that game?
There is no way our offense scored 30 points.
Yeah, it's all offense.
30-17. 2 passes.
It was the 2022 season. It was last game of the year. And yeah.
That was Desmond Ridder was playing.
That makes sense. No, it was Desmond Ridder. It was his second victory, I want to say, as a pro. I think he went 2-2. But look, I know the Bucks took out their starters though, so that's kind of not legit either. But I think I seeing them score a 30-point game, I'm like, I remember thinking to myself, how the hell did we ever get high on Desmond Ritter? And then I'm like, oh, okay, seeing a 30-point game at the end of the season, that'll do that for you.
Okay, so I'd say another one too. 2021, we played Washington. We scored 4 offensive touchdowns, and then we lost 30-34.
Oh wow, yeah, that was the game. Cordell Patterson had 3 touchdowns, right?
I think so. And then before that, 2020 against the Raiders, we won 43-6.
Jesus Christ, man. That
So
is
like
embarrassing that you have to go back that far for a 30-point game.
Meanwhile, you could go to the Chiefs or something. They probably got like this year. They don't think they have any.
Yeah, so this year's only 3 games in.
Yeah, but like last year, how many did they have? Like so, man.
I don't know, and I feel like you can point to a bunch of teams that like I just think about the class of team that put us with when you start talking about teams that haven't scored 30 over X amount of time, right? Like not scoring 30 in this year because that's only 3 years, and not scoring 30 for 1 year is one thing. But I'm like I was scratching my head trying to figure out when the last time we scored. I was like. Damn, didn't we have an offense? Wait, didn't we have an offensive coordinator as our head coach at some point? Like, like, I was genuinely confused. I was like, huh? Have we had more games where we scored less than 10 points than games we scored more than 30? Like, you feel me? I'm like,
yeah.
So, this that game where I'm okay with picking with my heart. I'm just not about to sit here and pick the Saints.
Me neither. I could never.
And I mean, if they was just like objectively better and the Falcons was giving me nothing, then I'll pick the Saints, but I'll just want to watch a watchable game. But I don't feel that way about the Saints, and I don't feel that way about the Falcons. Saints looking good, but I think I saw what I needed to see to say that they got exposed a little.
Sure.
Now, whether or not we can do it, that remains to be seen because, a lot of this, at least 50%, probably a lot more than that, of this game comes down to personnel.
Okay.
And the Eagles D-line was motivated. Like, Jalen Carter was making plays, like TFL plays, not just, okay, a stop for a 3-yard gain. Nah, man, Jalen Carter was getting them for 3-yard losses. He stopped some of them plays single-handedly. He stopped some of them drives single-handedly with his play. So this will be a great game for Grady Jarrett to kick it in gear. Like that time he had like 3 sacks against Breeze. We need one of those games.
We need Grady.
We need a dose of Grady. We need Matt Judon and say, hey, this when you're trying to earn your contract, this one of them games to do it. It's one of them games to do it. But most importantly, bro, we got to tackle. As long as because Kamara's slippery. That's like the thing. That's the number one thing about him. Like he all around back, but he's slippery. Like he don't even be trucking anybody. They just bounce off him and fall down. So if we do a good job tackling him, I think we'll be all right. I feel confident. So all right, man. Well, look, we're getting the Twitter page up. Got it called the AG line in 91 at x.com. Cam, you got anything you want to plug?
At the moment, I do not, man.
All right, brother. Well, look, if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and definitely comment. We want as much community as we can. If you got anything you want to chip in, anything you want to say, anything you want us to cover or me to cover, let me know in the comments below. Appreciate your time. Have a good one. Stay classy. See you after the game on Sunday.